Hello book nerds and computers, I'm Summer from Silver-Eyed-Fangirl and today I'm reviewing Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix. First off, before I do continue with the review, I would like to give a huge thanks to Quirk Books for sending me an ARC copy of this book to review, and thank you to Eric Smith, who I was emailing and talking about the whole process of reviewing a book and becoming a reviewer and going on to review lists. So thank you for answering all my random and probably stupid questions, but it was a big help and now I got a book to review. This book follows a group of employees who decide to spend the night in the furniture store they work in called Orsk to catch whoever has been destroying their products and displays. But as the night progressively gets on, they start to realise that it's not a who they are looking for, but a what. I went into this book very open-minded, and honestly I'm glad I did, because with this book you have to be very open-minded about the supernatural world and ghosts and spirits, and being more open-minded seems to pull you into the story a lot more than if you're just like, I'm not sure. But if you're just very open-minded about it, then it just pulls you in so much. Let me properly start the review with a look at the book's appearance. From first sight, this book looks a lot like an IKEA catalogue. It's the same shape, it's the same thickness and size, and it's got the same layout as an IKEA catalogue. I personally think it may look a bit too much like an IKEA catalogue, and if that's just like on a bookshelf or a shelf in a store, that someone who quickly glances at it may think it is a catalogue and just, you know, ignore it and walk past it. Not even trying to pick it up. Now I'm not saying change it, because this look is very clever because it is set in an IKEA-like store. So I think it's very clever that they made it look like an IKEA-like catalogue. But what I'm saying is that they could have made a novel by Grady Hendrix a bit bigger, maybe a bit bolder or darker. Just something where you can see that it is a novel and not just a catalogue. I love how these little square picture frames give a little insight into what the horrors are to come in the story, and the back of this book is just so creepy and dark and really scary, and it looks so good. And it's just like everything's gone to ruin at the end. And I love how the catalogue-esque things does not end with just the cover. Inside is also very catalogue-like. It's got a map of the store at the front. Inside it has an actual order form for items from this furniture store, and then you go, every time you reach a new chapter you get a product on the side and its description and what colours you can get it in and how much it is. It's just so clever, but it doesn't take focus away from the actual story itself, which is very good, because if they added way too much, like making a full page of just this Orsk stuff, then I think it would have took a lot of focus away from the story itself, but it doesn't. There are pages where there are literally nothing to do with the catalogue inside, but it still looks like a catalogue and it doesn't take focus away from the story. Now, the actual story started off really slow, and I think if people don't stick with it and keep reading like I did, they'll just get bored and put the book down. I suggest just to keep going because it does get better. I think it's sort of like suspenseful leading up to what happens at the end. Just like read like 100 pages or so in and it does start to get really, really intense and things do start to happen, I promise. It's not just people randomly walking around a store. Just stick with it and things will happen. But it was a very slow beginning and actually a very fast ending. The 5/6 characters in the book were very, very, very believable to me. They're not like any other characters in this book because in the horror genre, what frustrates us as readers is when the characters make dumb choices and do something that a normal person would not do. It frustrates us as readers and also as horror movie watchers. It just frustrates us. We're like screaming, "Don't go to the scary house!" and they go in, and it frustrates us because the most logical things in horror genre nobody does. But with this story, the characters are more believable because they think first. They do the logical stuff. They don't copy the horror genre. They're believable because if we as humans was in that kind of situation, they do the stuff that we would do in that situation. We would call the cops. We will try to find a way out. We do not run towards the monsters, we run away from the monsters. My favourite character was probably Basil, the manager, because he cared so much about his employees' safety that he would put his own safety in jeopardy just to make sure they were okay. You can tell he's a book character because no real manager would do that. My least favourite character started out the complete opposite as Basil. Amy, our main character, seemed a bit full of herself. She seemed too self-involved, like she was like a friggin' child when she was about 20 years old in this book. And she acted so much like a friggin' teenager, and she was whiny, and she just annoyed the heck out of me. But as the story went on, she had amazing character development. She changed so much towards the end of the book that I just couldn't figure out what happened. The last few hundred or so pages of this book was so twisty and turny that I couldn't put this book down. I really couldn't put this book down. I had to find out what happened, and it was so intense. I felt the heaviness of my chest, wanting these characters to succeed in what they was trying to do. Oh my god! I thought though that the book was a bit too fast paced. I mean, event after event would happen, things would happen one after another too quickly, not giving the reader any time to let the last event sink in before the next one happened. It was just so fast that you kept tripping over your own mind, basically. You're like, whoa, this is happening, whoa, this is happening. Too fast. This book was truly scary. I got scared, and I'm a 17-year-old girl who giggles at the Saw movies. So this book is really scary. This book is a scary book once it gets to its point. It gets so scary. And I suggest this book for people maybe 17, if you're brave, upwards, because it's not for a young adult audience. it will be too scary. I know some young adults will sit there and go, oh, I can handle it, I can do it, but they won't be able to. It is really scary, and because of the fast pace of it, they'll just get confused. Let's just say I won't be looking at IKEA the same way again. Summer, do you want to go to IKEA? No. No. This book was 243 pages long, which I think was perfect, and it was long enough to get everything in, but still leave the reader wanting more. So much more. I mean, I wanted a lot more to happen. It is packed to the brim with action, and it may start off slow at first, but please stick with it. Even if it takes you 2-3 months to read it, please stick with it, because it starts off slow, but it will get better. It is building up to something really, really good. This book is released in the UK in the 23rd of September, which is a Tuesday, and it will cost £11.99. It's a bit pricey, and I think that a lot more people will buy it if it was cheaper, but I think for this story it is worth the price that they've set it. I think more people buy it, like I said, if it was cheaper, but this price is a good price for the story. Horrorstor is a very unique book. It's like nothing I have read. All over the horror books I've read, it's nothing like this. It is really unique. It is a unique setting, and I hope it inspires a lot more books like it, but not exactly like it. Maybe think of an unconventional place where a horror would not usually happen and do it, because this book was so unique because it was in a place you wouldn't usually think of being haunted. And it's, oh my god, it was so good! I give this book a 7 out of 10. It was really enjoyable. It is going to be a perfect Halloween read for if you want a little scary jitter things. But as I said, I think the beginning is a bit too slow. I think he could have added, Grady Hendrix could have added some things going on here and there that would keep the readers on their toes and keep them wanting more, but it was a bit too slow in the beginning, and the ending was just too fast. But overall, it is amazing, unique, and a terrifying story. I just really enjoyed it, and I think a lot of other horror enthusiasts will too. So that was my Horrorstor review, guys. Oh my god. Wow. My first ARC copy review. Wow. So thank you, Quirk Books, for sending me this beautiful ARC copy of Horrorstor. Thank you, Eric Smith, for putting up with all my crazy and stupid questions. And thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, don't forget your local library, and keep reading. Bye!